From the alley-oops at Keyshaw to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way. From off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and there have been lots of questions about the roster and some of the depth issues at certain spots.
True.
Do we believe that the 49ers have a need at wide receiver? Do they still need to bring someone in?
My personal opinion is that they don't have to. I don't think there's, unless you're talking a Julio Jones trade or, a trade for another big name receiver that no one's talked about. I don't think there's a receiver out there that's level moving for them. I'm not saying there aren't guys out there that are better than whoever their sixth guy is going to be, or, fifth, sixth guy. But I think you got a solid starting duo right there with Samuel and Ayuk. I think you have, some good prospects with Juwan Jennings. Travis Benjamin's a really explosive slot guy. And now if there was still if Edelman was healthy and wanted to play another year, that's a guy I'm like, whoa, you could grab him and he really improves the slot position. But they brought in Marquise Lee for the workout. I'm a big Marquise Lee USC guy, but Marquise Lee is their fourth receiver at best if he makes the team. I mean, like I said, there's guys I would take, guys I would want, but I don't think there's anything outside of trading for Julio Jones that's earth-shattering here. That, really takes them from this spot to,
Okay. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think the wide receiver position could definitely get an upgrade. I just don't know who, what, when, where,
exactly.
How do you get it done? How do you accomplish it? I don't know. Do I think that it's on the 49ers' minds? Yes. Bringing in Marquise Lee signals it. The rumors around potentially trading for Deshaun Hamilton signals it. So who knows? Maybe the 49ers are looking at their options right now. This might not be a role, though, that is filled until cuts start happening at training camp.
Yeah.
That is where you might see the Niners making a move and go out and grabbing somebody outside of a big trade coming up. And there are some names that are out there that could be possibilities. The least likely of the three big names that are being thrown out there, which are OBJ, Michael Thomas, and Julio Jones. The least likely of those three is Michael Thomas, just because I don't think he adds anything to this receiver room that we don't already have. You got a guy who can stretch the field. You have Deebo Samuel and Ayuk who can both run intermediate middle routes, short routes, which is kind of what Michael Thomas's bread and butter has been. I know he's complained about, I don't have a guy who can push the ball downfield. He's going to have that this year in New Orleans, but is he even there? He's still having issues. The two names of that group with OBJ and with Julio Jones, those are the ones that are the most likely. But again, it's going to come down to cost. Because if the cost is too high, I don't know how you can pull the trigger. I don't know how you can pull the trigger barring knowing that the guy's going to be there long term. A guy like OBJ with the injury history that he's had recently, it's a real big risk. Julio has had nagging injuries, nothing major. He seems like the most likely of those three big names. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
I think it all comes down to making sure you secure depth. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You're right. You're not worried about the top end of the depth chart. You're not worried about Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, but you are worried after that. What do you have? Jalen Hurd hasn't played in 2 years. Travis Benjamin opted out last year. Juwan Jennings hasn't proven anything. You got Sherfield from Arizona. He hasn't proven that he can be a good receiver in the league. When you're really looking at it, yes, there's a lot of questions. Is Juwan Jennings that guy? I don't know. He hasn't proven it yet. None of those guys are proven. So when you're looking at it, you are looking to bring in somebody that's a more proven commodity that can improve the depth portion and the end of the roster, because you do need 6 solid guys. You need guys that can not only help you on the field, but also can help you on the practice field, help you, as far as special teams as well. So you've got to find guys that work. I mean, last year we were starting River Craycraft, and River Craycraft had never caught a pass in a game, and we're out there starting him in games. But you can't have that happen again. The 49ers need to make sure they improve everywhere, and that has been their motto from the beginning. We're going to improve every position everywhere we can. We're going to have the best 53 guys out there at, all the times, and that's what they're going to have to do this time. And I think there's names out there that could help improve. You did lose a player. You did lose Kendrick Bourne, and you need somebody that can, play that role and get those possession catches and, move the first down marker. So we're going to have to look at it, and I think they're going to keep addressing it, and I think you guys are right. As we get post-June 1 and then into training camp, there's going to be possibilities for them to pick up guys. I don't know about the trade for Julio Jones. I just don't see them ultimately doing it. But I think if they thought it was feasible, they 100% would do it, because Julio Jones would be the player that puts this thing over the edge.
Offensively, yeah.
Right away.
Horst, do you see them? Would you see the Niners making that move?
I agree with him that if they could, they would. But honestly, I think someone would outgun them for him if he becomes available, because of their lack of first-round picks.
Right, but Julio's not going to want to go to a losing football team.
True.
So just because you have more picks doesn't mean you're going to get Julio Jones.
I definitely think the Niners will be in on it if he becomes for sure available.
I mean, the one thing you have to do is prevent him from being in division, because Seattle, the Rams, those guys would try to trade for him. They just don't care.
It's true. Look, at the end of the day, the Julio one is not. I don't think it's likely, and it's not because I don't like Julio Jones, and it's not because I think it's a huge risk. It's just I don't see how it ends up working out long term for the 49ers and long term for Julio. I think the Niners just have a lot of things that they still have to pay out. I don't know what the salary.
Thinking long term.
I know, but that's my problem.
He's 35 years old.
That my problem is that's how I am as a person. There's the longevity of everything. Value. How much are you getting? What are you getting? If there are known factors like a Super Bowl win, then all of my worries go aside. But that's not a guarantee. It's never a gimme. It's never a guarantee. That's why I'm this guy in this scenario.
Right.
I'm the critical negative guy on this, and it's because I can't move past future.
The one thing is you don't know who a second round pick's going to be.
Mel Kiper says Julio Jones wasn't going to be able to catch, so.
I mean, the thing is, you don't know who the second round pick is going to be. So if you're getting Julio Jones, is Julio Jones going to be better for your football team than the second round pick you're going to ultimately draft? Or, you know what I mean? That's how you have to imagine it and look at it.
How many games is he playing?
It doesn't matter. If he's playing in the playoffs, that's what matters.
That's true.
If Julio Jones plays 10 to 12 games and then plays for you in the playoffs, he has tremendously changes your team.
If he's playing 10 to 12 games, I'm happy with that, because you have Debo and Ayuk you can lean on for the rest of those games that he's out and gone, as well as Kittle. But if he's not playing 10 or 12 games, he's playing 5 games or 4 games. And yes, you'll have him for the playoffs, but is he going to be the guy he needs to be come playoff time? That's my concern.
Yeah.
And how much you're giving up for that production. I'm not in the medical staff there, so I don't have access to any of that. So it's hard to know with certainty.
Life's a garden, dig it.
Hey, it was a hamstring.
Those are hard, especially at his age.
I know, but I'm just saying it was a hamstring. You don't think they could ease this guy along and make sure he's ready?
Easily.
Now that financial reasons and all kinds of stuff, that one's an outside one. Some guys that are free agents, though, that the 49ers could look at and possibly bring. Number one is Larry Fitzgerald. Horst, do we think he's actually going to retire? Is he retired now, or is he still going to be available for somebody?
Man, I don't see him joining a division rival of the Cardinals.
You don't think so?
No. That guy, he doesn't seem to have a hateful bone in his body.
Yeah.
You hear him talk.
You don't think even after they replaced him with A.J. Green that he would be like, you know what?
I'm out.
I don't know.
I thought you guys wanted to do this with me. I thought you wanted the Super Bowl with me.
I don't know. I don't know if he would either. I think he's going to retire, but...
So do I.
I would lean towards retirement also.
Okay, what about Golden Tate?
That name right there is the best one, I think, of the group we're going to hear. Like, the guy that would come in on the Niners and have the most impact of these free agents.
I worry about the speed decrease with him. He's getting up there. He's not as quick as he once was. But he is a solid route runner. He can still create separation. And he can still make the big play. We've seen him do it. He did it last year, especially towards the end of the year with the Giants once he was healthy and good to go. His thing has always just been being on the field, not even injury-wise, just staying out of trouble. So we'll see what happens. I think he's at a point, though, where it would be a low-risk, high-reward scenario.
Right, and he makes tough catches, and he's able to run after the catch. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys that he blocks very well. He has the attitude that the 49ers are looking for, is kind of that physical. Mm-hmm. So he could add in that area, too. Plus, he can play inside and outside, which not a lot of guys can do.
Also true.
And so he's very talented. Another guy, Marquise Lee, who worked out with them. Do we think Marquise Lee could actually make this team? He had the tryout, over rookie minicamp. Can he make the roster?
2017, 2018, if he's back to there before his injuries, he can help this team. If he's not, then absolutely not.
It's hard to judge him based on his body of work being in Jacksonville. That's where he was. That's where he spent his time.
Mm-hmm.
It was with the Jaguars. And that offense is just atrocious. It's just not a good offense. So at the end of the day, it's worth a look. It's worth a shot. I don't want to put too much faith that this guy could, become something in this system, in this offense. But Shanahan's done crazier things.
Well, I'm talking him as a fourth receiver. God.
No, I'm aware of that, and that's what he would have to be as a fourth receiver. Anyone that they're bringing in is looking at a third or fourth man role, unless it's Julio. Because even then, it's like 1A, 1B, 1C role.
Right.
In that scenario. I'm willing to give it a look, but I'm not going to put any stock in it.
I think he's one that makes sense for them to sign.
Okay.
Because he is better than Jawan Jennings. He is better than, some of those guys at Sherfield at the end of the roster there, that he could beat them out and make the team. I think I would feel a lot better if we were going into the season, with Hurd and, Travis Benjamin and this guy, Marquise Lee, as the, sixth guy. I think I'd feel really good about that a little bit more than, because I think he's better than Jawan Jennings. And it's nothing against Jennings. It's just Jennings' speed hasn't showed up where, Marquise Lee is faster than Jawan Jennings. And so that's why he to me, he's more of an option than those other guys. Another guy that Horst really likes, that could be an option. Last year he was really reaching out, trying to play for the team, and then ended up with the Baltimore Ravens, is Dez Bryant.
Well, with Dez, he seemed to be able to shelf all his off-the-field crap from years prior last year and keep his mouth shut and stuff, outside of the one weird COVID thing. But Dez, if you want Dez to come play Kendrick Bourne's role, you can't tell me that he can't come in and play that role and play it better than Kendrick Bourne did.
I'll tell you that.
You don't think he can?
Not at this stage in his career, no.
I agree with that there, actually.
Did you watch him last year at Baltimore?
He looked good in one game.
Well, and the thing is the speed. It's not there. No. Kendrick Bourne is faster than Dez Bryant right now.
Kendrick Bourne's fast?
Faster than Dez Bryant. He's not fast, but he's faster than Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant has lost a lot. If you watch early Dez Bryant compared to now, he's lost a lot. He's just not as fast. He lumbers. He moves like Jawan Jennings. And that was the reason Jawan Jennings was a 7th round draft pick. He has a lot more experience. He's a red zone threat. Those areas, he would be beneficial. But I think if you're saying he's an improvement over Kendrick Bourne, I don't see it. And I'm not the biggest Kendrick Bourne fan, but I think Kendrick Bourne is overall better than a current Dez Bryant. Not a Dez Bryant that played for the Cowboys. That Dez Bryant was fantastic.
Not this Dez.
That one was good.
This
Dez
is real good.
I don't think so. I think Kendrick Bourne is better, and that's why he got a huge contract from New England.
I mean, the New England was going to give pretty much any receiver that was considering going there a big contract because they didn't.
Well, they tried to trade for Kendrick Bourne as well.
I did try and trade for KB. That's accurate. It's very accurate indeed. Look, and this pains me. You guys know how much this would pay me to admit.
Stephen
A.
It absolutely pontificates my very soul and being to have to sit here and tell you that this man, Kendrick Bourne, is a better wide receiver than Dez Bryant. Okay, it's the reality of the situation is that I just don't think Dez has it anymore, and that's not on Dez. It's father time, it's age, it's injury. He had 2 severe string of injuries after being out of the league for a full year. He was out of the league for a year, came back, Achilles, ACL. I mean, it's just not. Those are not the type of injuries that you have back to back consecutive like that. That usually lead to bounce back success. It's usually signaling of, it's time to hang him up, cowboy. It's over, And so for Dez Bryant, he may have sang a swan song. It might be done for him, and I just don't know if he has anything left in that tank.
Well, is that hard to say? Because Dez Bryant's a dear friend.
Yeah, he's a dear friend of mine. Dez Bryant and I have family dinners and things of that nature all the time.
Yeah, I don't think Dez would be a top 6 receiver on this team, in my opinion.
No.
Well, one guy that has a ton of speed, Horst, is DeAnthony Thomas.
I like him for their offense. One, because this would be if Travis Benjamin doesn't work out and that take the top off speed role. And 2, he's a really good kick and punt returner. So if you're looking for him to do what Marquise Goodwin used to do, plus return kicks and punts. Yeah, I see him as a back end of the wide receiver room guy.
Is he better than Juwan Jennings?
I think he's better than Richie James.
Is he better than Richie James? I don't know if I'm convinced about that.
He's faster.
Maybe faster, but is he better? I don't know. I don't know if I believe that aspect of it. Richie James has at least had a big game in the NFL. D'Anthony Thomas hasn't really done much of anything in the NFL.
He's ran really fast.
I mean, that's it. Listen, and I get that. Speed is a very important factor in Kyle Shanahan's offense. But it's also a very important aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know how much... I don't honestly believe that he can bring that much to the table that someone else in this team already doesn't have, other than the speed dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
If the idea is you're bringing him in for special teams role, I agree with you there, Horst. If that's his main job, is that, I'm willing to give it a shot. That's fine, because can it get any worse than it's been on special teams? I don't know if it can in the return game. If the idea is we're bringing him in to have a role, an important specific role in this offense, I'm not sold on it because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him do it anywhere. And, you know, if there was one place where speed should translate and kill, you would think it would be that Kansas City-O. But it didn't. So it's a risk there, but it's a low risk because he's not going to command a whole lot of salary either.
I just meant as the main kick and punt returner and the backup to that run the top off guy.
Maybe.
I think it all comes down to if they get into training camp and they're having guys that are struggling with separation and struggling to stretch the field and can't get it done that way because they have a lot of big receivers. You know, if you really look at it, they've brought in big guys. Then maybe he's a possibility because, you know, last year was Tavon Austin and guys like that they could bring in that were super fast. But I think that if they were looking for that right now, that Tavon Austin would be a guy they would be interested in maybe more than D'Anthony Thomas because he's a legit positionless weapon. But, I mean, D'Anthony Thomas is still one of the fastest dudes there is. And so anytime you have speed, you have a added element to your offense. Would I put it out of mind? No, but I would lean towards this is probably not going to happen. And they probably wouldn't be someone they were interested in. I think overall, going through the list, I think Golden Tate and Marquise Lee are the two guys that
I can agree.
Make the most sense for them as an option. I mean, beyond the top three, like you said, that could be post-June 1 cuts.
Let us know what you think about these names down below in the comment section right now. Chat, comment. Do you like these names? Do you hate these names? Did we leave a name off the list? Is there a guy that we're not talking about that the Niners could be targeting? Let us know about it down below. And while you're down there, do not forget to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Help us on our road to 1K. Join the Cutback community today.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a part of it. And hit that notification bell. That way you're notified and are here with the community, commenting on all of our videos and partaking in the conversation.
Yep, make sure you're here. Thank you for joining in all the conversations. Always love reading the nice comments, and there's always good questions. So I mean, if you have a chance, go back and look at our comment section. You'll see a bunch of great comments and great interaction. Jump into those. There's a lot of nice people on there that will like to have conversations with you. And there's nothing negative. Everybody keeps it positive and just talks football. Agree to disagree and move on. But we talk about each other's points. And I think that's what it's really about. It's about joining together and having fun because we're all 49ers fans. We all want them to win. And talking about it is the fun part.
Mm-hmm. True indeed. It's about love. It's about connection. We connect with you. We love y'all. And until next time, 49ers fans, you stay safe.
Remember the right way.
Is always the 49ers way.